We both want to expand trade and investment with allies in a liberal international order that will soon boast India as its fastest growing major economy. Our diplomatic, military, and political ties are deepening because we have a genuine strategic partnership, but really it is our people who are driving this relationship. Indian entrepreneurs are investing in the U.S., even as U.S. businesses expand here. Indian students are throughout American universities, and more Americans seek to study here, including through an expanded Fulbright scholarship program. Our tech companies are working together in impressive ways, and our ethical partnerships could transform both our development trajectories. Our ties and our bonds are deep, and they're not driven so much by political summits and bureaucrats in these leadership conferences. They're driven by a free people and these free markets. And that's why I say that there are no natural limits to the future of U.S.-India relations. And that's why the world's largest democracies, not its largest autocracy, will lead the 21st century. We will lead because we are on the side of empowering individuals to make choices for themselves. Again, not government, not some new world order organization making decisions and decrees for us. We are on the side of religious tolerance and women's rights. And in recent years, India has so helped lead by example in the area of women's education by narrowing the gender gap in women's literacy. You've helped remind the world that a culture cannot advance when it holds back half its creative and intellectual power or its political power. I admire India's tradition of strong women leaders at home and abroad. And in fact, last year I had the honor of supporting a strong American woman of Indian descent when I endorsed the candidacy of South Carolina's new governor, their first female, Nikki Haley. I met Nikki's parents and was so impressed by their work ethic and their story, and by Nikki's upbringing that led her to become part of a grassroots movement in America that, in the introduction, was explained as the Tea Party. And I'm proud to get to be a part of this movement as well. The Tea Party. It was named, of course, after that famous event in American politics that was a precursor to our independence. Back in 1773, when American patriots were upset about British taxes, they dumped tea into the Boston Harbor. The British had forced a monopoly on the American people that had prevented us from importing tea from anyone but the British East India Company. Even back then, we believed in free trade. And today's Tea Party is a strong and vibrant movement in the U.S. and is only going to grow and become more and more influential. India Conclave, the theme of this conference even, remember it is changing balance of power. Well, the present-day Tea Party in America, that's a perfect example of that. It's all about empowerment of ordinary, everyday, independent patriots who are rising up and making their voices heard in order to change the balance of power, to protect our United States Constitution and allow us to live out our Declaration of Independence. It reminds our central government that our Constitution gives great power to our 50 states and to individuals, and that these powers, these God-given rights, are not to be trampled on. The changing balance of power throughout the world today is driven by the empowerment of the individual and mankind's desire for freedom. That's what we're seeing across the world today, even as we speak. And the American people understand this, and I know that India understands this too. Back home in Alaska, where the fresh snow blankets the ground today, and my kids texted me to send me a report on what's going on around the house. They reported that they saw a mama moose and her 2 baby moose out by the wood pile down the driveway, and thinking about home this morning, remembering that there in my kitchen, I have a beautiful pencil drawing on my kitchen wall. It's a frame drawing by Robin Coran, and it's a picture of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She's holding a precious child, a baby, in this drawing. It was said of Mother Teresa that perhaps the greatest message she has given to the world is the value and dignity of human life. Understand the sanctity of life. From India, she was able to share this crucial message with the whole world. And it is a crucial message because the freedom and the empowerment of the individual is rooted in an understanding of every man and woman's inherent dignity and worth, that sanctity of life. I look at that picture, and I had looked at it even as I typed up the speech on my home computer there in the kitchen, and I was struck with this. Countries that would deny that message of individual worth and destiny of an individual, they inevitably stifle their own advancement because the fire of human progress is sparked by the aspirations of ordinary men and women seeking a better life. These simple working class aspirations, if you will, simple working class, what we want is a good job and a home and a good education for our children. That is what motivates economic progress and positive change. It is not bureaucrats, it's not central planners, it's not government decrees. Just hardworking men and women who are seeking the freedom to chart their own course and succeed by their own merits. And that is what India has been able to embrace and really make manifest with so many of the decisions made of late. When people realize even the briefest glimpse of this freedom and opportunity, they run to it. Even a hint that they can succeed through honest, hard work, yes, they run to it. That is what they want to embrace. That's what they want to live for. They embrace the promise of better days ahead. They will sacrifice today for a better tomorrow for their children and for their grandchildren. The individual responsibility and drive and determination, with that, they will work together to carve a life for themselves out of the wilderness. They'll voluntarily contribute to help their neighbors, even neighbors half a world away. That's the optimistic, pioneering spirit of America's frontier. That's the spirit of India's progress, too. That's the connection with America and India.